In 1997, a former United States Navy SEAL purchased a 6,000-acre plot of swampland in Moyock, North Carolina. His name was Erik Prince. He was 28 years old. He had a $200 million inheritance from his father's auto parts empire. Erik Prince had built Prince Corporation, a Michigan-based manufacturer of auto components, into one of the most successful family-owned businesses in the United States. When Erik Prince died of a heart attack in 1995, he left behind an estate valued at approximately $135 billion. Erik Prince had not stayed to run the family business. He pursued a different path. He completed Navy SEAL training at Bud S. He served on SEAL Team 8. He deployed to Haiti and the Middle East. By 1995, he had left active duty. By 1997, he had a plan. He purchased land in Moyock, North Carolina, chosen for its proximity to Naval Station Norfolk and the isolation of its terrain: swamps, pine forests, tannin Blackwater. He called the company Blackwater USA, named for the dark water of the North Carolina wetlands. The original concept was a training facility, not a private army. Firing ranges, obstacle courses, helicopter landing pads, simulated buildings for close-quarters battle training. For the first 4 years, Blackwater was a niche company. The Secret Service trained there. Some Navy SEAL units, the FBI. The company was profitable, but it was not significant. Nobody outside of government training circles had heard of it. Then, on September 11th, 2001, everything changed. Within 48 hours of the attacks, the United States government was authorizing emergency spending at a scale not seen since the Second World War. The problem was not soldiers. The problem was everything else. The CIA needed paramilitary trainers. The State Department needed personal security details for diplomats being deployed into active conflict zones. The Pentagon needed contractors who could build forward operating bases faster than military engineers could be deployed. The CIA was the first major client. In late 2001, Blackwater received a contract worth $5.4 million to provide training services to CIA personnel. For a company that had been running a rural training range, it was transformational. Then came Afghanistan, then Iraq. When US forces invaded Iraq in March 2003, Blackwater was already in position. The company had expanded rapidly, hiring former Special Operations personnel, Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, Marine Corps Force Recon, Special Forces. The private sector could offer them 2 to 3 times their military salary. The State Department awarded Blackwater a personal security detail contract for the Coalition Provisional Authority. The initial value was $27.7 million. By 2005, that had expanded to a worldwide personal protective services contract worth over $300 million at its peak. Blackwater had more than 1,000 armed personnel operating in Iraq. The company operated its own helicopter fleet over Baghdad. It had an intelligence division, a maritime unit, a logistics subsidiary, a weapons manufacturing division. By 2007, Blackwater was generating approximately $1 billion annual revenue. 90% of it came from government contracts. On March 31, 2004, 4 Blackwater contractors drove into the city of Fallujah in Al-Anbar province, Iraq. Their names were Wesley Batalona, Scott Helvenston, Jerko Zovko, Michael Teague. All 4 were former military. All 4 had been deployed into an active combat zone escorting a convoy carrying kitchen equipment for a food services company. It was not a combat mission. It was logistics. Before the mission, members of the team had flagged the route through Fallujah as high risk. Those concerns were in writing. The mission went ahead. The convoy was ambushed at a traffic circle on the main road through Fallujah. All 4 men were killed. Their vehicles were set on fire. 2 of the bodies were dragged through the streets. 2 were hung from the Euphrates River Bridge. Images were broadcast globally within hours. The political fallout was immediate. President Bush authorized the First Battle of Fallujah, a Marine Corps assault on the city launched 11 days later. The operation became one of the most controversial of the Iraq War, eventually halted under political pressure, with the city not yet secured. Blackwater faced congressional scrutiny. Erik Prince testified. He said the company had acted appropriately. He said the men had known the risks. The families of the 4 contractors filed a wrongful death lawsuit. The lawsuit alleged the company had sent the men into Fallujah deliberately under-equipped, rushing to fulfill a contract without adequate personnel or armoring. The case was eventually settled out of court. The terms were not disclosed. The State Department did not cancel Blackwater's contract. 6 months after Fallujah, Blackwater received a new contract worth $320 million. On September 16, 2007, a Blackwater convoy entered Nisour Square in central Baghdad. The square was a busy civilian traffic roundabout. Mid-morning, ordinary Baghdad daily life, families in cars, pedestrians. The convoy stopped. What happened next? According to U.S. military investigators who arrived on scene 35 minutes later, was that Blackwater contractors opened fire without provocation. 17 Iraqi civilians were killed. 20 more were wounded. Among the dead was Ali Kinani, a 9-year-old boy shot in the head in the backseat of his father's car. The Blackwater contractors said they had been attacked first. United States Army investigators concluded that 13 of the 17 deaths were not justified. The FBI conducted a separate investigation and reached similar conclusions. The State Department, which had sent its own diplomatic security agents with the convoy that day, initially attempted to offer the Blackwater contractors immunity in exchange for their statements, a decision later cited by federal prosecutors as having crippled the criminal case. In 2008, 5 contractors were indicted. In 2014, 4 were convicted, 1 of murder, 3 of manslaughter. In 2017, those convictions were overturned on appeal. The case was retried. On December 22, 2020, the 4 contractors were pardoned. Ali Kinani's father, Mohammed Kinani, learned of the pardon from a news alert on his phone. He said, "I have no words for this." By the time the pardons were issued, the company that employed the men who killed his son had changed its name 4 times. In February 2009, Erik Prince announced that Blackwater USA was changing its name to Z Services. He said it was about moving forward. What did not change? The ownership, the management, the training facilities, the government contracts, the personnel. Z Services continued to hold its State Department contracts. It continued to operate in Iraq and Afghanistan. In 2010, Erik Prince sold G Services to a consortium of private equity investors for approximately $200 million for a company that had generated close to $1 billion in annual revenue at its peak. The price reflected the legal exposure the buyers were acquiring. The new owners renamed the company Academi in 2011. Under this name, the company attempted to reposition itself as a more professional, less controversial government contractor. In 2014, Academi merged with Triple Canopy under a holding company called Constellis Holdings. Over the following years, Constellis continued to absorb additional private security and military support firms. By 2020, Constellis was one of the largest private security companies in the United States, holding contracts with the State Department, the Department of Defense, the Department of Homeland Security, and as of 2026, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. In 2022, Moody's issued a negative credit outlook on Constellis. Standard & Poor's, expressed similar concerns. The company that grew from a North Carolina swamp, through a billion-dollar war economy, through a massacre, through 4 name changes, was now considered a credit risk by Wall Street. Its government contracts remained active. After selling Z Services, Erik Prince moved to Abu Dhabi. He founded Frontier Services Group in 2014, backed initially by Chinese state-owned enterprises. Frontier offered aviation and logistics services across Africa, in countries where conflict created demand for private sector support. Prince said it was different from Blackwater, a logistics company, not a security contractor. In January 2017, Prince met in the Seychelles with Kirill Dmitriev, the head of Russia's sovereign wealth fund. Robert Mueller's special counsel investigation characterized the meeting as an attempt to establish a back channel between the incoming administration and the Russian government. Prince denied this. In 2017, Prince also presented the incoming administration with a proposal to privatize the war in Afghanistan, to replace the US military presence with private contractors led by a presidentially appointed viceroy. The proposal was rejected by the Secretary of Defense. As of 2026, Constellis holds active contracts with the State Department, the Department of Defense, and Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Its personnel operate across dozens of countries. There have been no major congressional hearings on Constellis since 2011. The 4 men convicted of killing Ali Kinani and 16 other civilians were pardoned. The contract that started in 2003 has been renewed, in one form or another, every year since. For 23 years, the arrangement has not changed. Only the name on the letterhead